こがフランス。初めて見る景色。初めて見る人たち。
ついに来たんだな。お前がずっと待っていた日が。
あの方を全力でお守りすることが私の使命だ。フランスにはなんて美しい殿方がいらっしゃるんでしょう。オスカルは女性でございます。
自分から先に名乗るのが礼儀というものだ。
オスカル・フランソワ・ド・ジャルジェ、フランスコノエ連隊長付きの大尉。こんな幸福を生まれて初めて知りました。
俺はいつかお前のために命を捨てよう。
私の分まであの方を守り支えて差し上げてほしい。
私の望みはアントワネット様が立派なフランス王妃におなり遊ばすこと。
Hello and welcome to the periodic table of awesome as we dive straight into the first of our season of anime.
It's gonna be anime.
It's definitely gonna be anime. It's gonna be anime and animated.
It is. I'm just looking for like a few more lamps and stuff that I can put around me, just so I can have 10 to maybe 20,000 more eye sparkles and highlights.
The amount of eye sparkles.
Holy fucking shit!
And they just got more.
Like at one point in time, I started to think, okay, are we going to start making their eyes bigger just so we can fit more detail and sparkle in? And then I realized that they weren't going to do that. They were just going to throw extra sparkle at the screen.
Yeah.
Just like wherever the fuck they felt like. It was like, you have a sparkle. You
Pocket
have a
sparkle.
sparkle.
Pocket sparkle.
I have to
Pocket
tell you,
sparkle.
it was so pleasing because it's very true to the manga.
I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there. Sorry, what are we talking about this for this one, for our very first one?
It is Versailles no Para, or Rose of Versailles.
Rose of Versailles, which is an interesting choice. Thank you, Jill, for your choice for anime. Because it is both classic and new anime, if that makes sense. Because I did not know its rich history until I looked into after I watched the anime, which is available right now
On Netflix.
On the Netflix.
Yeah.
You got
Absolutely.
On the Netflix.
sound?
Sure.
Yeah.
Where is it? Shit.
Hold
I
on.
don't know.
I'll do it. There you go.
I'll do it. I'll do it live. There we go.
There we go. Nice.
It got in there. All right. Okay. Finally. Yeah, which is available for on Netflix right now. But when, Jill, please, history. Should we go into the history of the Rose of Versailles, and then we'll get into the proper review, Quinny, so you can do your.
No, I'm happy to
accent
hand over to Jill.
Synopsis. No, I need your shit accent synopsis, but there's just one that you're not allowed to do.
Which one might that be?
I think it was the same one you weren't allowed to do when we did the Shogun.
Think about that one.
Jill. I even learned a phrase from you, Jill. Hito kiribatosai.
Oh, fucking.
That's
let's
okay.
Go.
No, that's okay.
I should have picked Rurouni Kenshin. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're here with doing the right accents, the not racist accents. So, Jill, tell us about Rose of Versailles.
Well, the Rose of Versailles is based on a manga that was first published in 1972.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so she's old. She's old. And an anime series came out in 1979. So still quite an old series.
Holy shit, right.
Yeah. It came about during a very significant era in Shoujo Manga, where they were really switching the focus to more complex narratives and love stories.
Quick question. What
Shoujo manga. Shoujo is girls manga, so like specifically just for women and girls, very feminine stories, as opposed to shonen manga, which is boys manga, which is all action and adventure stories.
Shonen Jump and those kind of.
Exactly.
And the band Shonen Knife. Yes.
So back in the old days, like girls manga was a little bit more kid friendly, I guess you would say. So during like the feminist era of the 60s and 70s, we saw like a wave of shoujo manga becoming more adolescent or young adult focused, with more complex storylines and romances, sapphic undertones, as well as heterosexual romance stories. And really, Rose of Versailles kind of set the bar for shoujo. Like all the sparkly eyes and the beautiful roses in the background, and like catchlights and all that kind of stuff. Like,
So much lighting.
yeah, it's such an iconic motif for the series, and I loved seeing that reflected in this movie. Yeah, Rose of Versailles really walked so Sailor Moon could fight evil by moonlight.
Because that's kind of where I was sort of feeling like, you know, that knowing the history is also interesting, because like I went looking to find clips and stuff of Rose of Versailles, and some of the clips that I found were like they were weirdly kind of tagged as like hot clip or very sexy or something, and they were from the original 1970s one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, oh right, okay, so this has existed before, was popular of a time, but also was quite, I mean, by the looks of it, sexy, you know,
Yeah. Like
not necessarily pure and innocent and
no,
childish.
I would call it like softcore pornography, you know, like it's racy for teenagers.
Right. It's like Vaseline lens pornography. It's kind of like
as
like,
opposed to Vaseline on the hand pornography,
yeah,
which is different.
Yeah. on the lens. There you go. That's what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very definitely like knight in shining armor, maidens, damsels, that kind of stuff. And like besides the historic setting, it kind of evolved a lot into like high school settings further down the track to appeal to the audience.
So Rose of Versailles was sort of not like a leader of a lot of period piece kind of anime. It was just the one that people latched onto, and then the shoujo stuff morphed into more teenage high school stories and stuff like that.
This was kind of like the pivot point. Like this was the one that really like set the bar. The writer was into communism and like left-wing politics, that kind of stuff. So the revolution setting kind of spoke to them, and that's what they decided to write about. But it was a pivot point in terms of storytelling with like political elements and romance and that kind of stuff.
It's the question that I sort of have, which is like, that's fascinating because it has this very interesting history, especially about the concept of, you know, this manga going into anime and its history going all the way back to the 70s before people really understood it. And then we still get this story that comes out where it is all very much like, let's look at the beauty of things. Let's put romanticized images everywhere. Let's make every kind of frame a picture frame window. Yep. Like, let's make some very strange directorial choices throughout the anime.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's. You say strange. I say, oh, look at this! Isn't that beautiful? It's classical shoujo anime.
I had a little bit of that. I was like, classical anime, excellent. Like, we're getting into the like kind of like, of course there'd be a stupid cut to that. Of course this would look like the Star Children. Of course that's a Pegasus with weird eyes. Like
there are definitely sort of some choices that like, you know, it's not sticking directly to the time period. It does kind of go off into flights of fantasy.
It is flight of fantasy. It has nothing to do with Marie Antoinette and the French
Revolution.
Revolution.
Period? Are we talking French Revolutionary time period or the 70s?
well, okay. It makes a lot more sense if it's like, hey, here's some cool 70s weird shit. Sure. It's like, you just had sex with this person. Here's a glowing Pegasus and an entire universe full of happiness. Yeah. And you're like, fucking what? Okay, cool.
I mean, you know, look, you could say that like this has as much to do with the French Revolution as the Mikado does to feudal Japan. Like, come on, it's fine, but I love that. It's a reverse on the tropes. So it is a Japanese interpretation of European history, but just throwing kind of crazy shit at the wall. Not, for the time, I reckon I'm going to call it. For the time, it was a little bit risque, a little bit crazy.
It is like overly romanticized, but then could you not say that Victor Hugo's Les Mis was also a romanticized view on the same period?
Sure, like you cannot disparage either. Because they were very important. I mean, I just love that it just had that one little trope that I kind of like in all anime is the main characters are easy to spot because they have eye highlights.
Yes. And all their hair is brighter than everyone else's.
Yeah.
Yes.
But mainly the eye highlights, because if they're even in the background and you see there's one character with slightly larger eyes with lots of highlights in it, you go, that person's going to be important in Fast 4 5.
The more highlights you have, the higher you are on the call sheet. Yeah.
I love.
Well, I mean, you've got to go into makeup so much earlier to get all that shit put in your eyes.
Like the Marie Antoinette character just turns up with the biggest fucking eyes that you've ever seen, and you're like, well, obviously she's the important one.
And I do love that Louis the 15th, isn't it, or 16th?
The king at the
king.
Yeah.
Her husband.
Oh,
no eye highlights at all. Yeah, 16th. Sorry, yeah. No eye highlights at all.
So like,
completely uninteresting dude.
Oh yeah. He was a very boring man.
Plain as fuck, kind of dumpy, and it's just like, you are not the romantic lead in this story. I'm sorry, sir.
Enough,
you do not have a single eye highlight.
Didn't the real Louis the 16th have like a fuck ton of mistresses?
Yeah, they were really throwing stones in this one.
Yes, the woman is the one who is wrong.
Yeah. It's like, I'm pretty sure that he was fucking a lot of things, not just the bookish nerd.
Should we get into the synopsis?
We should definitely get into the
synopsis. A bit more about what we're talking about.
We, in fact.
Do you need some background music?
I would love some background music. And as our chat is very quiet tonight, I am going to go with Shit French.
Perfect. I love Shit French.
And let me see if I can completely fuck up some names here. So my apologies. Mon Dieu. In the late 18th century, 4 people, Oscar Francois de Jagès, a general, who is a woman raised as a man, Marie Antoinette, the daughter of Austrian empress that is destined to become queen, André Grandier, Oscar's childhood friend, and Hans Axel von Thirsting, because he is so fucking thirsty.
He was thirsty.
Yeah. Who is a Swedish aristocrat. They meet in Versailles, beautiful Versailles, in France, and live their respective destinies whilst being tossed by the tides of the era. Mon Dieu.
What are we talking about? This is...
Avec moi.
This is... Quinny, what is the title of the film?
The Rose of Versailles.
D'accord.
Yes, there you go. That is, I apologize. That was probably more Lumiere than... As the dishes, they're French.
And Ewan McGregor live action Lumiere as well.
Yeah, exactly. So half Scottish and struggling with the accent. Sorry, Ewan.
Struggling. This one is a 2025 Netflix release, but is it a Toho production? Toho Next.
Yeah.
So it's somewhat affiliated, but it is a recent adaptation, and it is quite interesting to me because I didn't feel like I was watching a recent 2025 adaptation. I felt like I was watching a 70s anime. And that was kind of like a very stylistic choice, mainly because the person I was watching it with was just like, what is this? This looks terrible. This is horrible. And I was like, just from the style, like the view kind of thing, like, oh, this looks terrible and scratchy. And I'm like, this is literally how they were going for this. And I think they kind of knocked it out of the park with trying to make that sort of classic anime
Yeah, I mean, if you're not familiar with anime, it could be very alien to watch a cartoon like this.
Yeah, I mean, it had all those really great things, which is the overdone background plates that are kind of very painterly, and then the very kind of focus on the figure, not so much on the animation of the speech and what they do, but more about their facial expressions, which always has to have the big eyes and the embarrassed movements.
But I will say this one really leans in on the design. Like this is an anime that is all about the costume. It's all about the location, the design, the absolute over the top, over design of everything. And like you could very easily look at it and go, oh, it's just, it's sort of replicating a 70s vibe or whatever. But this is like, there's been so much time, so much effort put into the artwork here. And also I did note that it wasn't like a lot of anime these days where they've essentially just 3D animated some characters and whacked a filter over the top of it, rotoscoped, and there you go. This was proper, no fucking around 2D animation all the way through. And I was very impressed actually by that.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of stuck with their design choices and the style, because I don't think you could do this anime without being overdone. Like the opulence of Versailles at the time is like the epitome of like shoujo manga from the 70s. Like it is overdone. There is decorations on everything. We have 50 million catchlights in the eyes. Like,
yeah,
I think if you did anything but that, it would be extremely disappointing, especially for old fans.
Yeah. So have you watched much of the 70s one, Jill?
I haven't, no, not at all. But I'm very familiar with the manga and the style because it was such a keystone for shoujo manga and everything that came after.
And of course, if you're going to do an animation based on fucking Versailles, which was literally the thing that caused a revolution because of the opulence of it, you can't fuck it up. I mean, you can, but like you just have to go over the top. And that's what I kind of like. It is all kind of turned to 11 on this, which is crazy costumes. Like every character is kind of in a slightly different costume the whole time.
That alone, that would have taken so many fucking hours.
Yeah, just design different. Well, they're in this now, and crazy music that pops in out of nowhere. It turns into a musical at half past. Sometimes it's just painterly postcard things where they're like, we'll just chuck all this in. No, that's Art Nouveau and like Muka style. And it's like,
yeah,
sure, that's Baroque. Yeah, that's Baroque. We'll just throw that in there.
If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it.
Yeah. And then,
I'm sorry, Jill.
And also just takes great risks, which was like one of the things I thought was quite funny in the storyline. It was just, it's like, oh yeah, 3 years later. And then they just kept moving. You're like, wait, what? Like you just time skipping around. What the fuck are you guys doing? But hey,
look, I have to tell you that kind of stuff caught me by surprise as well. Because
really?
Yeah. I mean, it was a serialized manga and it was a series of anime. So to cut it into a 2-hour movie, I thought, we would just get a chunk of the storyline. But this felt like more of an abridged retelling of the full story. So yeah, the chopping and the motifs and the montages in like the first half did feel a little bit disjointed for me. I feel like there could have been a smoother transition through those rather than having like a music break and a moment to just like kind of expositionally tell a story without having to spend so much time actually doing that narratively. But then we kind of just get to a point where they do tell a big chunk of the story, and that's really where I think it found its groove.
I kind of found myself a little uncertain to begin with as to who I was actually kind of the most invested in, because you start by telling the story very much about Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
And she's kind of her perspective on things, and you kind of think, okay, she's going to be our lead character. and then somewhere around that time skip, it's like, oh, actually, nah, she's actually over here doing all of her dumb shit. Now we're focusing on this person, and it becomes Oscar's story. And I wasn't sure actually whether or not we were going to maybe do that again. Maybe we're going to change our perspective again, and possibly by means of a musical number. I wasn't expecting a musical.
When one of the main characters started breaking out into song, I was like, hang on, we've gone away again from the musical numbers to change a scene, and now a character is actually singing.
Yeah. And because I was sort of actually jumping backward and forwards between English and Japanese. Because some of the time I was doing something, like I was cooking, so I couldn't be reading subs while I was cooking.
You weren't locked in now. You should have been.
But at the same time,
we're the sub, not dub club here, Quinny.
I know. The English dub surprisingly good. Yeah. I was like,
question. One
that
question.
was pretty much on.
If you
on
watch
point.
some of the English sub, because dub, because I watched full sub, when they did the songs, was it in that half Japanese, occasional English, or was it all in English?
Songs are in English.
Interesting. Okay, I kind of want to go back and listen to the songs a little bit now.
And it is really interesting because suddenly, and as you say, Jill, there's different kinds of musical numbers. Like there's ones that are the start that are kind of, I guess, that very anime thing where it's like, okay, there's a musical number, the people are feeling their feelings, and here's a music that is going with it. And then suddenly somewhere in the middle, it does shift, and then the characters are singing their feelings. And it's not just a pop song playing while they feel shit. Suddenly they're singing to each other, or they're singing about each other, and you're like, oh, whoa, fucking okay. What are we doing here? And then there was a bit later on which I was like, oh shit, we actually are doing Les Mis. Fuck.
Yes, oh my god, some of these songs were very like, oh, if you squint real hard, it sounds like Les Mis. And there was even a number where they had like a masquerade in Versailles, and I'm like, oh, this is exactly a Phantom of the Opera ripoff.
Have no fear though for anyone who's watching it. Don't worry, no one gets in a giant mech suit in this anime. It is very much the other.
That's what it was missing.
Yeah, Marie gets into a mech suit and she's like, "Let them eat cake."
I thought, oh well, the Battle of Bastille would have been over really quickly if they had Mecha.
Mecha Antoinette.
Where the walls of the Bastille actually fold down, and suddenly there's batteries of giant fucking missiles and stuff like that. It's a very surprising ending.
Yeah. Could have been. That's an extra. Speaking of all the music, though, was there a favorite song or a bit that you guys had, or a memorable song? I mean, I'll go first. Masquerade was the one that I kind of went, that's actually quite catchy. I didn't mind that one.
Was the Phantom ripoff. Those lyrics were like definitely 50% from Phantom.
Yep.
But it was kind of fun. I mean, all of the music was hilarious because I was watching it mainly in Japanese, and then there were always like a lines or two of English that were in there. And God bless it.
It's just the trendy thing to do.
It was sung like, you know, in pitch and tone and everything, but there was just no emotion. You could hear the emotion when the Japanese was being sung, but when the English would be sung, I was like, there is nothing in that. And you just said something kind of important. That's weird. That feels strange. Just should have kept with Japanese. You know?
Yeah.
I do feel like a lot of the musical numbers was the same tune, but the words were different.
Yeah.
Because all the songs did kind of sound the same, to be honest.
Yeah, I was perhaps hoping for a little bit more kind of variety, because the first one or two, they were different enough, and I was like, oh, okay, right. And then I started to kind of go, oh, okay, musical number again.
Yeah, and it sounded like the same one from before, but now the words are different.
Yeah, and for me, who is a musical nerd, like if you say to me, Marie Antoinette story, anime, musical, like there's at least two of those things that I'm like, fuck yeah, and one that I'm like, and yeah, unfortunately the musical side of it probably was the thing that didn't work particularly well for me.
Yeah, I
But
mean, there was so much that you could have conveyed tonally if you had like put in a bit more effort with the music.
yeah.
And I mean, I found it very long.
Yeah, I was surprised at the 2-hour runtime.
And I mean, after your 6th or 7th Erst, you've just got to go. You're just kind of getting there, going, so why are the characters still here? Like, you know, they tried to kind of get in there about the French Revolution and, you know, those kind of communist ideals that you were talking about earlier, Jill, because of the center left that the author was about, and they came through quite heavily by the end. But yeah, like all of the like, oh my God, I'm pining for you and you're pining for me and I can't be with you and I can't be with you and blah, blah, blah and blah, blah, blah. And what if we get together?
I will leave and I will
stuff?
never marry you, but I'll marry somebody else if they can tell me that they can always pine for you and we'll never, ever have sex.
Oh, they were banging. Come on. That was the whole point, is that they were always like, I can't, we were not allowed to touch. And then everyone's like, they were totally fucking for like a month. But
they're like, oh, but I am the king and I trust you with my lack of highlights. And
I mean, I got to say though, like, do you know one of the characters that I sympathized with that I didn't think I would sympathize with was Marie Antoinette.
Oh,
interesting.
Because when like there's later on in the film, I don't know if this should be in the spoiler section or not.
Not entirely well.
Are we having a spoiler section? I'm not quite sure.
Can you spoil a story that is,
I mean, we all
250, 300 years old?
I mean, we all know she gets that right. But in this one, the interesting thing I thought about was when Marie Antoinette was monologuing to Oscar much later towards the end of it, and she was talking and defending her kind of actions about the things that she was doing, going, you know, basically like, fuck the pause. But she never actually says the infamous line, let them eat cake or anything. It's fine. But it was interesting how she explained, when I got here, I was literally a fucking child of 14. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just having so much fun in this crazy kind of thing. And now I'm a woman who's had children and gone through their life, and do I not deserve happiness? You know, do I not want, like, am I not allowed to have love and do all this kind of stuff? And that was actually a surprisingly human conversation that I was like, oh, they actually try to go for you should feel sorry for Marie Antoinette, but she also kind of said, fuck
there's
the
also
pause.
the bit where Marie Antoinette is also gambling heavily and drinking heavily with all of her friends on the backs of the poverty-stricken people of France. And it's kind of like she is not, you know, it's not just that let them eat cake. It is like, I am going to party away, and, you know, my opulence is the thing that is
we all
literally...
know if the poors had the money, then they just like waste it. Why didn't it go to Marie? She was doing a good job with it. You know?
She knew how to have a good party. That is very true.
She was putting tariffs on Russia.
I do find her argument compelling in that scene, Dion, like
sure.
You did as well. But I don't feel like we got enough time with her to justify it or to empathize with it as much. And I think that was kind of the downside of the movie. I think if we had like a reboot series and we could explore that a little bit more over like 12, 15 episodes, then sure.
I think you're right, because the shift to Oscar as your main protagonist suddenly means that, yeah, like any plot threads that were kicking on with Marie and von Fursten kind of get sort of just left in the background, because now we've got a new character that we're trying to tell the story of. But also there's a part of me that found that Oscar was the stoicism and the just got to do what I've got to do and everything, like, doesn't perhaps make, I know it's a trope, but it didn't make her as interesting to talk to you know, engage with. And
I mean, no, but that's the romantic part of the character.
I know, and this is why it's shoujo, not shonen.
Yes,
exactly.
Every woman wants a stoic partner. They want to be the one that breaks them.
And if that was reversed and it was Oscar was a man, in that. It would just be like that person is so devoted to their duty, that's what makes them great. They just can't. And like, even though they want to, we know. And it's like, no, this is really a nice trope turn.
But that's why the story is also sapphic, because you got the girls that are reading this that are yearning for Oscar as well, and like, maybe they're going to question themselves later in life.
Oh yeah,
I got super heavy sapphic vibes from the start of it.
Oh, yeah.
Going, Oscar and Marie Antoinette are going to have this torrid love affair, and then it kind of.
I was waiting for it the whole film.
It just fizzled out, and I was like, oh, that was a bit dull. Like, I wanted to know about, like, I wanted the Marie Antoinette's secret lover who's a woman, but captain of the guard. I was like, sweet. That sounds like a fun trope of change. But did they do that? No, it was always like just men. Fuck.
Yeah, I honestly thought that's where it was going, but also, is that because I'm just like, show me where the hot chicks are? No.
Only if you were waiting for them to show it directly, or being like, oh yeah, that's the only thing that's kept me interested.
I'm waiting for the sex scene.
Yeah.
No.
No, I'm supposed to be watching.
Sorry,
this
you only get rainbow silhouettes.
Yeah.
And Pegasi.
The Rainbow Pegasus sex scene where, like, what was one of you said in our chat was like, he's turned into a sparkly vampire.
Oh yeah, they went like upside down rainbow vampire, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I love it. I'm with you. Like, let's go. But like, what the fuck?
Like, the point you brought up earlier, and I can't remember who it was that said Mooka. Was it you, Dion?
It was Dion, yeah.
Yeah, right. There's some beautiful design work. Like, when we're talking about it going weird and rainbow unicorns and sparkly vampires and shit like that, that is also accompanied in some cases by some gorgeous fucking design. Like, where they're framing the characters in this beautiful Art Nouveau sort of photo picture frame kind of stuff that is reminiscent of Mooka and a lot of that kind of stuff, and it is stunning, and I can't imagine I will ever see a film that is this insistent on being beautiful. Like, it just insists that you look at it and go, God, you beautiful thing.
I mean, it's true. Like, I was watching the whole thing going, this is style over substance, kind of. I mean, it has a really substantive message, I thought, like, across it, but also it's mainly like, but style first. It's like, we need to see a ballroom scene, or someone needs to come in a new opulent dress. Let's talk about jewels. Isn't this lovely? Now just throw rose petals at the fucking screen.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
It was kind of fun.
And it was like the opulence of it, I kind of started to get into. Yeah.
In Japanese, we would say it's utsukushi.
Okay.
Utsukushi. What is the meaning of that? Is it's beyond kawaii?
It's beautiful. It's charming. It's handsome. It's lovely. Like all of that. Yeah.
In Australia, we'd call it spunky.
No, we wouldn't. No, we wouldn't.
On no day of the week would we refer to this, unless maybe you're Kath and Kim.
Maybe.
Oh, you're a skunk.
Oh, he's an utsukushi kind of guy.
Oh God.
It's the vibe. It's
oh
dear. It was long. Like, there were a few times where I was like, fuck me, this has got a lot of story to tell.
We probably could have chopped half an hour if we just focused on like Oscar from the start and left Marie as a background character, then sure, maybe. But the whole thing is like those two were the main protagonists from the series, so maybe not as successful as a dual story point.
I mean, it clocks in just under 2 hours, and that's a lot for anything, really.
Unless it's a superhero film, and then they'll go 2 hours and 20.
Yeah.
But at least they have fights, and there might be a giant robot. In this one, there was a fight in this one. You got to.
I was going to say, you got a battle sequence. There was some fighting. There was some blood.
Yeah, you got a battle sequence. You got an angry poor mob.
That every time you call somebody a paw, it starts to make me wonder what side of the wall you need to be on when the revolution comes.
Yes, what I just keep referring to them as the paws.
Yeah, are you looking down at the barricades or are you behind them?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm wherever is advantageous. I'm like the CIA. I watch the rich people and the poor people, and I'm just throwing weapons to each side, going, "Go on."
Monsieur Thénardier, there's your lame is you're the master of the house guy.
What?
Yep, I buy it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm actually kind of intrigued to now go and have a look at the 70s one, because the little bit that I saw was very 70s. Like it was the opening sequence of the show, and so slow. It obviously had beautiful music with it and everything like that, but I was just like, oh wow, this is definitely animation from a different period. We're going to slowly pan up things that have 4 frames of animation repeated, because this is how we fill our time. But yeah, like I could see that there was a feeling of the same kind of desire for beauty there, but also it had the same sort of kind of 70s color palette of things like, you know, the original Devilman and stuff, like quite dark, and surprisingly kind of heavy line work. And if there's one thing I've noticed, that as you know, time has gone on in anime, especially just with high def and everything, is that the line work in animation has just gotten lighter and lighter and lighter, to the point where, you know, it's so fine. And that's why I think this one is so beautiful, because it's Baroque but light. It's very difficult to explain.
You liked it though.
I did. I mean,
even if you were watching the stub instead of the sub.
The stub one.
Stupid dub.
I feel like such a class traitor. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to give back my weed.
I know what side you'll be on in the revolution.
I won't be reading, so I'll be able to run away faster. Won't be tripping over those 2-inch tall stumbling blocks.
I'm actually very interested in going and finding out Lady Oscar. Did you know of that one?
So is there a historical context to that character?
No, this is the the live action film adaptation from 1979, where they took that story and they filmed it live.
There you go.
In a French-Japanese co-production. So there you go.
Oh, wow, yeah.
No,
and as soon as you look at the picture, you're like, holy shit, that's very definitely it.
No, Oscar is not a real historical character. Sorry, Quinny.
Okay, thank you.
There was no female captain of the guard who was a revolutionary and a cool person. It is 100% made up.
Right. I mean,
which is a shame, because it would have been fucking cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the idea of this woman who is accepted and respected by, you know, society in a ostensibly not a trans space, but in a space that says this is a man's area, and because your family has said, well, we don't have a man, so you're a man now. Yeah. She's gone, well, I'm gonna fucking run with it. And I think it's a cool story. I actually really like the story, and I was kind of hoping there may have been some element of truth to it. Now I really want to find the trailer for Lady Oscar, because the images of it. Did you ever see the movie of Popeye?
Oh, yeah. Maybe a very long time ago.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Robin Williams as Popeye. So the images have a bit of that, like super oversaturated color, and a kind of feeling of like, this was a very bad wig. But I kind of want to check it out. So when this podcast actually comes out, make sure you go and look at the website, because if I can find a trailer, that sure as shit is going on the website.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah, you can.
Yeah, sweet.
You'll be able to.
Should we do a rating of some description?
Yes.
Sure. Yes, you can, and you can 100% find that. I want to see it now too. I have it queued up right here, but not for this. Just for later. You know, but we'll check it out.
So I'm gonna start because I find it hard to actually rate because I realized that a lot of my predilections about not being a big anime fan came back with this one with a vengeance because I'm like, okay, that pacing thing, the fascination with slow shots and long pans and stuff like that. I was like, ugh. But there was so much in there that my eye was just constantly zigzagging all over that fucking screen that I found it almost exhausting. Look, I think it's 70 from me.
That's
like,
low. That's so low, Quinny.
It's pretty, but the story's broken. And like, it's not broken, but it's disjointed. And I wasn't
like
able to
internet
really get on
connection
board with the characters as much as I probably would like to. Sorry?
It's just much like your internet
What's that?
connection tonight is just
Shit fuck. Because my internet connection connected to the wrong fucking internet again.
That's all right. We got everything. We heard you.
It was earnest, but
okay, good.
Not connected.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's a 70 from me, and now I'm going to try and change my fucking internet.
Sure. Julie, do you have a?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 85.
Ooh.
I am a long-time anime fan. I loved seeing a historical moment, not just in terms of the story, but also like the genre. It's really the mother of shoujo manga, and without it, I wouldn't have Sailor Moon, and so therefore, I owe a lot to Rose of Versailles. It was 100% utsukushi, and I loved every moment. And I shed a tear at the end. It was emotional and it got me. The points off are definitely for the disjointed storytelling. First half was like all over the place, but when it got its stride, it told a really strong story, and I wish it had been as strong all the way through.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look, I had to say, I kind of went into this. So I've come into anime like this. I go, sure, fuck it, we'll just do anime, whatever, that'll be fine. Not really.
You chose this.
Well, no, we all collectively agreed to anime. It's just the type of anime. I'm really happy we've got 3 distinct choices, which is this one, which I'm going to say is classical, traditional anime, which is amazing. Because it just drew me all the way back into like the first time I was watching anime, and this was like, oh yeah, this is what this was about. And to know that it's a new story telling in the classic way and having all of that history, Jill, which is fascinating. If you go into it down the rabbit hole of where this sort of came from, what the influences were, why it was such a big hit, and it still kind of ticks boxes today for people. It's a fascinating one to sort of look. So I kind of liked it. In the film way, I'd probably head towards maybe the 70 mark, but because I think it has all of that interesting history, I'm going to raise it back up to like 80. Because also I went into it with the ridiculousness of it. Like, I mean, it is ridiculous. Yeah. But it's kind of like I was watching it going, this is kind of a bingo card for all the anime that I've ever seen, which is there's your highlights, there's your weird gremlin grandmother character.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But then they also have to have a matching fool who's a kid man, and they have the weird eyes. And then and then something surprising that sort of pops out that's a bit weird. But this just doubled down on it because it had like musicals, postcard imagery, weird time skips, absolutely paying no attention to the timeline and reality whatsoever of the French Revolution. So yeah,
hey, they did a lovely montage at the end in still images that led up to the guillotine.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't shy away from everyone's head got chopped off. So
they just didn't animate it.
They just didn't show that.
Oh, you don't want to see the head.
I want to see those fucking eye lights go dark.
Away. Oh,
I want to see the light go out of those eyes.
I kind of did at a point though, because I was like, wow, Marie Antoinette's head should come off, and then there should be a blood fountain. kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You have to there's got to be like a half-second pause and then the gush.
Yeah. And that's when the
And,
highlights.
and the guillotine standing, like the guy
die.
who's pulled the thing, standing there in a really cool pose. And then the blood sprays up behind.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it 80. It's an interesting bit on the shelf to go there to explain that, and I think it's quite a more valid thing, and I learnt stuff, and I like that when I watch stuff. It's like, oh, that was interesting. Yeah. Also PG rated, so you can totally just give it to anyone, really. It's like, here, watch this anime.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Like there's literally, I think, one sex scene in it that is kind of like.
Yeah, and they're just rainbow silhouettes in the sky. You don't see anything.
Yeah. No,
upside down as they come in. It's like, what? How did you get upside down? Okay, let's go to
classic anime, no nipples.
Oh yeah.
Kurasuki.
Not a nipple to be found.
Nah.
Kurasuki. Okay, we'll go to watch a clip which is in dub because Quinny couldn't do any of that.
Your vision is limited. Paris is dangerous.
We stay together, not just for now, but for all time. Those were your words, Oscar. I live as your shadow. Without you, I cannot exist. So take me. We'll go through hell together.
Andre. Yes. A request, if you would allow me to be selfish. Be sure that you never leave my side. Then I know I can be strong.
Yes. I swear never to leave your side.
Oh, of course, that's where we end up. Like, Sorry.
And I was very pleased that there is at least a couple of 147s in there.
Yeah. I love those ones too. Yeah, this is classic. It's a fucking bingo card of anime, and it's fun. Like, take it in that way if you're not really into anime. Which is like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, and just like if you love that kind of the design of that period, holy shit! Like, this is just like, have another outfit, have some shoes, have a hairdo, have all of the fucking things, but with also that anime kind of thing of going, we don't care about gravity.
Do you want to know a real vibe on a Google search, which I did a little bit earlier, which is look up the Rose of Versailles cosplay, but specifically Japan.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
because it can get really off the chain kind of stuff, especially sometimes it's a bit strange because it is very European French Revolution costuming, but not French Revolution people. It's great. We love all this. If you know, guys can walk around and go, I studied the blade and dress as samurai, Japanese people can 100% run around as if they're part of the French court.
Yeah.
100%. Interesting thing with this one, like, sorry, I realized I was going to ask, do we have any spoilers that we need to discuss about it? I don't feel like I have.
Not really. I don't want to spoil anything.
I mean, like, my favorite part was when Oscar won over the French guard, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean,
which time
really...
though? The fight time, or the
won them over in their hearts,
or won them over with the
renunciation
of their title.
Gave like that amazing speech and was like, you know, we're not nobles and commoners. Like, I forsake any land title that I own. I am one of you. Like, you know, we're gonna fight for the common people because we are French and Vive la Revolution and or France Banzai if you're watching in Japanese.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
But it's good,
Yeah, it was my favorite moment.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I sort of thought, there was some great moments there of real kind of stirring, kind of like, oh shit, right, okay. Yeah. And then seeing them go into an actual battle sequence and people be fucking killed in pretty spectacular ways. Like, oh shit, okay, that's nasty.
But not like the traditional anime ways where someone, does graphic horror and blood fountain. Just remember, like,
Yeah,
it is
no
a
blood
PG.
fountains.
Disappointing.
So, they didn't go into the true story of how did Louis die. It was from smallpox.
Yep. So much tuberculosis everywhere.
Yeah, like, I mean, I say it's good, and I didn't have an emotional connection to it, but I definitely had
I cried.
Oh, did you?
I did. I cried.
You cried for Oscar, or you cried for?
I did cry for Oscar. Yeah, the ending. Oh my God, it was so sad. But it was oh my God, I know what it was giving. It was giving the fucking end of the Cowboy Bebop movie. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, right. Yep,
Yeah, it was those same kind of vibes.
Haven't seen
I'm with you because
Cowboy
that is a
Bebop.
cultural touch point I get.
Dion, oh God.
I watched the full first season of the Netflix live
The
action.
only season.
Nope.
I just never got around to Cowboy
Oh,
Bebop.
we gotta educate you.
Oh man, Cowboy Bebop is probably the last anime series that I watched all the way through and totally lost my shit on. Which unfortunately is a long time ago.
I'll lend you the DVDs, Dion. Do you have a DVD player?
I can only watch them in dub though.
The dub is good.
You can do whatever the fuck you like with them.
Can I just watch it on? Can I just watch it on Netflix?
Do
Probably.
they have the anime there?
I'm not actually sure.
I don't know if they've still got it anymore. What? Sorry, we finished with the Rose of Versailles.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I just wanted to bring up an interesting thing. So, like, something I've noticed, and I don't know whether it's a thing like, so the French thing. So the Japanese French co-productions. This year, this week, I went down a weird rabbit hole where I started to. So I found the Asterix series that's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Which is fucking great.
Okay.
And I realized that there was a period in the 70s where there was a lot of co-productions between France and Japan.
Okay.
And I was wondering whether or not there was any history there, like whether the two countries had a history. Because I know France and Vietnam, obviously, that France had owned or,
they were
occupied.
like a colony.
But yeah, I was just sort of went down a thing going, is there a history there? Because they seem to be, I don't know, they worked well together.
I mean, they were on opposite sides of the war.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, it's a weird kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say there's probably not like a historical thing there, but maybe more of an economical thing.
Probably,
in terms
yes.
of animation studios.
Yeah, and like you got to remember too that the Europeans always had the Asiatic kind of influence.
Oh, there was the Japanese movement in Europe.
Yeah, like there's heaps of stuff of like the art and the design that has crossed over and they found from the Far East.
Yeah, I mean, when Japan reopened their borders to the Dutch and then you had a lot of trade going on, then that's when like the Japanese movement happened in Europe and it was like Orientalism was very fetishized and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's the same kind of way that they've done back into Japan as well with like the cutesy skirts and like French.
Yeah, the westernized
kind
adoption of a lot of culture in Japan as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's a back and forth. It's just you want what you can't have.
Yeah. What is foreign to you is fascinating.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we grew up in Australia where everything is foreign, but like the stuff that is interesting to other countries is boring to us. Like, all of your dangerous animals are like, that's just Steve. He eats the flies. It's like, he's a massive spider as big as your head. He's all right.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of animation studios in France, Korea, Japan.
Yeah. I just remember that there was like the Mysterious Cities of Gold, which was written by French people, and I think it was all animated in Japan, but I think there were a couple of others that were either also written in Japan and animated in French as well. So I don't know. It was just one of those things. I was like, that's an interesting thing. Where did that come from?
And
anyway,
French love a good comic and animation.
Well, yes, they do.
They're down for it. Like it's a cultural touchstone of theirs, and so any other culture they'll just grasp onto it if they're, it's like, what have you guys got? We love that. We do this.
I think that's an interesting point, because France does have the same kind of cultural thing with comics that Japan does. That in Japan, manga is for everybody. It's not, there's no cultural cringe around it. It's not, something that only are for kids.
Depends on the section in the store.
Anyway.
Sometimes you're in the wrong section. You get a weird look.
Sometimes those kid ones are in the adult section. Ooh.
And then you get an even weird look.
You do. And a tap on the shoulder from Mr. Officer.
That's interesting. I'm just reading that Studio Ghibli basically exists because the person who started the studio loves France. Yeah, weird. Anyway.
Next time.
Yes.
On the periodic table.
While Jill got a new classic. There you go.
Dion's going old.
I'm picking a classic that I have never seen. So next week we're going to be
so happy for you.
Doing
Yes.
I know, right? Like we're going to be doing
we're going to send you on a full Satoshi Kon deep dive.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Good luck.
Paprika is fine. But
no, Millennium Princess.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect Blue, which is going to be next week. And looking forward to that one. I'm just going to let it wash over me and do it that kind of way. So go in blind, haven't really looked into it.
Yeah.
Knew that it was one of those
If anybody in the chat is not familiar with Perfect Blue and you do want to watch it, just a trigger warning for sexual assault. That's all I'm going to say.
Good point. Thank you, Jill. But that one's what we're going to having a look at next week, and hopefully be able to decipher what that means in our month of anime. Although this week is very specifically just gearing up to tomorrow night.
Oh
my fucking God. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Can we take a minute to talk about Andor just a tiny bit?
Let's take a minute to talk about Andor. I have to say that last Wednesday's set of 3 episodes was the most riveting television I've watched in a very long time. That was some good shit.
I mean,
oh my God.
I mean, the prequels were better, but
I think when Jar Jar Binks stood up in front of everybody and said, "Eyes are gonna give extra powers," that was a far better speech than Mon Mothma's.
And then he pulled out his red lightsaber.
Yeah.
Interesting little facts though for Andor, if anyone was watching it, because there's been a few different revisionist history things that have run around, because this TV show Andor has actually counteracted things that were established in canon already.
Okay.
Okay. And talking about the Gorman massacre?
Yes. So, but the interesting thing about it
if you want another fucking French revolutionary tale.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were just swimming in French revolutions here.
One of the most interesting things was the first meeting of K2SO and Cassian Andor was already explained in the comics.
Fuck the comics.
Wait.
No one reads the comics.
Wait.
Actually, that hurts me a little bit because it's the only place I exist.
But there was a throwaway line in when he got the general, I can't remember the general's name, when he turns up, he looks at the K2 droid and just goes, where did you get that? Oh, I got that from there. He goes, yeah, we won't be telling people that that's where that came from. And it kind of helps to retcon the official story is that it's the comic story. But we all know the truth as the viewers that he actually got it from the Gorman massacre. So just the interesting little ways of doing it. And also, how they got Mon Mothma onto a different ship after she got off Coruscant, and that was the one in Rebels. There's a whole episode devoted to it. They match seamlessly.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that is pretty fucking cool that you can watch that episode and then
just
pretty
straight
much
to the Rebels
roll
one.
straight into the Rebels episode.
Nice.
And it all fits and works. I mean, yeah, like I had a moment of panic at one point in, I think it was the episodes 4, 5, and 6 of this season, where I was like, is it gonna hit the heights of the first season of Andor? Is it gonna really give me that emotional kick?
Yeah, let's say 4, 5, and 6 were probably the middling bit until we definitely rose up again.
They were just
Seven, eight, nine.
they were just the tense ones where there was a bunch of shit going on. But we got like 4, 5, and 6 gave us Mon Mothma getting drunk and dancing.
No, that was 1, 2, and 3.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah.
End of
4, 5,
episode
and
3.
6. Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. So no, it was the
4, 5, and 6
the
did
clock-
give us
the
Cyril on
clock
the bed
dial.
though.
Yes, it did.
Disassociating it.
Just like
Disassociation. and trying to get the listening device out of the artwork.
that's right, yeah. Which
Yeah,
I
which
did
is just like straight to your lift.
Lonnie, you're gonna have to fucking help me, Lonnie. But yeah, I do. I find it so bizarre that Luthen's given up on the hairpiece. I'm like,
comes and goes.
yeah,
it comes and goes.
But yeah, I'm very, very excited for these last few episodes. It has just been spectacular fucking TV.
I mean, knowing that it's going to be total party kill, for Rogue One, you just kind of like, oh shit.
I mean, already, like, they said that that this season of Andor was going to kind of recontextualize Rogue One, and in a way, it already has. Like, there are so many things that you just go, oh, that is actually even sadder now. That's pretty fucking rough. Shit.
I'm actually going to say my favorite bit of the last 3 episodes was the look on Genevieve O'Reilly's face that she acts when Cassian shoots her driver. On the way out. And it's perfect for the character, because that character has just realized, fuck, it's death. Like, this is what this has all been about. Like, she just watched someone that she'd known for a long time, even though that it was an obvious Imperial spy. She hadn't been confronted with the reality of the rebellion. It was good to me.
Yeah, that whole Panic at the Senate episode was really good.
Well, after the massacre, where I was like, holy shit, that was so tense, and it was such a massive fucking thing. I was kind of like, well, where do you go from here? I didn't expect giving a speech and then getting away would be as tense, if not more so. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. So, yeah.
I mean,
how do we feel about Uncle Jimmy Smits not being in the series because he was busy?
I mean, I feel like Ben Browder's doing a good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
I'm okay with it, because Jimmy's getting on.
Jimmy Smits is in his 70s.
Benjamin Bratt's like 5 years younger than Jimmy Smits.
Maybe he's drinking from the same fountain as Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, sorry, he's 69. Jimmy Smits is 69 these days. But also, apparently, he has Alzheimer's. Which, I mean, I'm not entirely sure whether that's at the point where it's affecting his ability to work, but yeah.
Yeah, well, they make these decisions. If they wanted to make it work, they would have made it work. It's okay. I'm happy to let that one go.
I mean, yeah, they very specifically said that they had to because it was a conflict of work.
Yeah.
And you're not going to hold off on shooting for one person, I guess.
No, sorry, you can't. Especially like a side dish story now. Bail Organa is not exactly one of the heroes of the first series of films, are they?
No, but I mean, there's always that thing of knowing who, continuity is a lovely thing.
Yeah, but if Sebastian Stan turned up as Luke and it wasn't Mark Hamill, would you be annoyed?
I think Jill would be fine with
it.
Look, it's fine.
Where's Jimmy?
Yeah,
But no, Ben Bratt's fine.
Very, 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 very excited to go through. A quick question before we run off again. Apart from non-Star Wars one, have you all been keeping up with The Last of Us? How are you going with that?
I'm just about to watch the next episode. One. Same.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay. No, that's okay. It's people have always been a bit concerned, like, oh, how's it going to go now that Pedro's not there? And it's like, it's going to be fine if you're invested in the character and the story.
Yeah, bitch, have you never heard of a flashback?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Also, like, if this is just confirming one thing, is like, I never want to go to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
Like,
yeah, Seattle's not a nice place.
Yeah, not a nice place. Apparently, like, you know, after the post-apocalypse, but it makes me think, well, all those people had to be there first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It's the birthplace of Starbucks.
And Nirvana.
There you go.
And Twilight.
Oh, mate,
all the really important things.
You brought it down there, Jill. Jesus.
Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
Never seen it.
No.
Oh, sure.
Wow.
It's definitely been on in my household, but I've never really watched it. All right.
I just opened up my window that I'd been watching Netflix on in the background at one point, and it's a shot of Rose of Versailles, and it is just flowers and highlights and sparkles and a little bit of it. It's just, I was like, oh my God, it's just everything.
That's what that is.
I love and respect you, Rose of Versailles.
Well, thank you. Thanks to the people in the chat. Thank you, Pretty Kanga. And thank you, Tari,
thanks for joining us.
For dropping in and saying hello. We're going to go now, and you guys should go watch The Last of Us and get onto that. And I'm going to go and prepare myself for tomorrow's 3 episodes of Andor.
Ooh, yeah.
By also queuing up Rogue One straight after.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to do that, but I've also I've realized that starting Andor at the wrong time means that you end very late, and I don't want to be half asleep for it.
Just call in sick on Thursday. It's my plan. What are you doing? I've got PA syndrome.
Pre-Andor or
post-Andor syndrome.
Post-Andor.
I've got PAS. What the fuck's that?
I'm sorry, I'm a little BBY today. I did love that there are so many people who are like, what the fuck does BBY mean? and you know what? Fair enough.
He's that droid from the
Yeah, I was like, who's BBY3?
Oh dear.
We love BBY. He's our favorite.
He's the best. Okay. Thanks everyone.
Thanks everybody.
You have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. But martial arts from iron fist and wall, call Dazzler up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're out of cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind, or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Bucky Barnes and arm wrestle for